What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. So today I'm actually having the opportunity to sit down with Markus Jun from Deblock. He's actually the head of research. So how's it going, man?
Hey, how's it going?
Really good. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. You know, obviously ICON is one of my favorite projects, clearly, and we're going to really have a great time learning and having some insights into what you guys do. Also, just as a reminder, the token swap is getting close to the end, so people definitely need to do that. I just wanted to take a chance to tell people that. I was actually looking at the ICON tracker earlier today, and I was pretty happy to find out that the transactions have been actually steadily increasing, which means that more people are using the network. So that's actually good. So
Yeah. So like you said, there's only a week left for the token swap, and yeah, transactions have been increasing as well.
yeah, I don't know if they're just if that's just because they're all trying to swap their stuff out, but so I mean, before we kind of get started, Markus, how large is the ICON network right now? Like not just the dApps, but like enterprises, the other institutions you're working with, like hospitals, universities. How big is this network right now?
Yeah, so on a private enterprise level, I would say that it's probably one of the largest private networks in Korea right now. We currently have consortiums in the banking, the healthcare industry, the insurance industry, the education industry. As an overall network, I would say that as a private enterprise network in Korea, it's the company that's working closest with the government in terms of providing POCs and also other blockchain initiatives.
How did you get involved in ICON exactly? Or in the blockchain space, and then, you know, what drew you to ICON specifically?
Yeah, so for the past 3 years, I've been a crypto private investor and also a researcher with different angel investor groups. I've looked into maybe 1,000 projects, invested in maybe upward of 30 ICOs, including Aeon, 0x, ICON. And, you know, for the past year, I wanted to focus on a project that was really strong fundamentally. And having been in Korea, to me, looking at the ICON project, looking at the connections, the entire network, it seemed to me like it was a really strong project, and I wanted to get involved beyond just, you know, an investor. So that's when I saw the opportunity that Dblock was, you know, looking for people to join, and that's how I got involved.
What is the perception of ICON over there from South Korea? Because I know sometimes over here in the West, you know, you hear these rumors that like, oh, South Koreans aren't even paying attention. Like they're more interested in other blockchains. Like what is the perception of ICON over there?
Right. So actually, I would say that it's like in Korea, there's no one who doesn't know about Bitcoin. There's no one who doesn't know about cryptocurrencies in general. And I wouldn't go and say that every single person in Korea knows about ICON. That's just not true. But every person who's serious about cryptocurrencies in Korea knows about ICON. And also all the enterprises that are working or looking into tokenizing or looking into apply blockchain to their existing services, they all know about ICON and they're aware of its position as currently the #1 blockchain developer base in Korea. Because, I mean, both in terms of quantity and size, quality and size, it's the largest developer base. They have more than 100 developers, and they're also very selective when it comes to hiring developers. So, but they're still actively hiring right now. So as a developer base, it's well known. And also the general perception of ICON is that it is the #1 project in Korea right now, because the reality is that I think it's the only Korean project in the top 100.
Yeah, I mean, as far as crypto goes, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I'm almost sure that's a correct statement from what I'm aware of as well. I kind of like don't know where to start today. I do want to get into ICON. I know that's why most people are definitely here to hear about the ICON updates, but I also want to just kind of tell them like what you're doing with Dblock and how this is really going to help ICON out. So you are the head of research. Can you just kind of explain for anyone who doesn't know what exactly Dblock is and what you guys do?
Right. So we were founded about 7 months ago, along with the ICON Foundation. And we're essentially an accelerator and VC for the ICON ecosystem, right? We're based in Seoul right now, but our reach is beyond Seoul. We've worked with a lot of different global projects, including projects in Singapore and also San Francisco. But our main goal is to try to build up the ICON ecosystem on a public level. And the way we do that is that we help our projects connect to the crypto world because a lot of the projects that we meet with, or a lot of the projects that we accelerate, actually are projects that have been doing really well in the traditional world, right? So they have a lot of domain expertise, but the crypto world is an entirely different kind of, game. And so we want to make sure that they have the right guidance to succeed, in launching their token sale, as well as launching the token economics, and also making sure that they integrate well with ICON. So we're actually, we work really closely with ICON in the sense that we're in the same building, and we're always going to meetings together. We're connecting them, giving them technical, connecting them, making sure that our projects have the technical support, the business consulting. We also do a lot of networking events for them, both in Korea and outside. We had several roadshow events in China. We also host, so an example of the networking event would be a monthly kind of like a demo day of blockchain projects, where we host 5 of our projects, or 5 of projects that apply, and they pitch 10-minute presentations to a panel of judges, which include representatives from, in the past, they've included representatives from Kakao's GroundX, Lines Unblock, Hashed, Upbit, and so on. So we have these kind of networking events as well to make sure that our projects are well connected. But essentially what we do is we grow the ICON ecosystem, and we provide a bridge between the real world and the crypto world.
How do you decide what projects that you want to work with? Do they have to go through some kind of a review process or something, or?
Yeah, so actually, if you check out our site, there is an apply button. And so teams usually apply, and they give information about the blockchain project, why it requires blockchain. It's quite a long list, right? Mm-hmm. And once we go through that initial filtering process, then we meet with the teams. We make sure that the teams have a really solid background, because I think we're getting closer to the point where you can't just do a white paper ICO anymore. We want to make sure that these projects have really good products and services behind them, and also a lot of track record behind them. So we focus a lot on the quality of the team. And because of our network in Korea, this is something that's, something that we can easily check and look up on.
How are you guys looking to expand, though? I mean, I know recently, so one of the things that I noticed was you have the ICX Station that launched in San Francisco. So do you want to kind of talk about what is the role of these stations? Is that part of your plan of really expanding ICON more to the west, essentially?
Yeah, absolutely. So right now, we have a global accelerator program called ICX Station. This is kind of like the umbrella brand of all the accelerators in the world. And right now we have stations in San Francisco, Japan, and Korea. Korea being Deblock right now. Mm-hmm. But Deblock takes a bit more of an expansive role, because we take care of a lot of different projects in Asia as well. But having said that, we're looking to expand globally, not just in these regions, but also beyond them. And we have a lot of interest in people who want to run these ICX stations as well. So we're looking at potentially New York. Singapore is actually very close to launching.
New York would be cool, man. Then I could go visit. It's only a train ride away. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, so there's a lot prepared in the pipeline, and we're looking to expand globally just beyond Korea. That's the main focus.
Mm-hmm. And I noticed too, the other component now, they're also, like when you look at the Deblock, you have ICON side, but you also have the AD4th Insight. They're like sort of the other half of it. So what exactly do these guys bring to the table as well? What are they doing to really help the ecosystem?
Right. So AD4th Insight is led by a really famous startup entrepreneur in Korea called Jun. And he has been instrumental in the past with a lot of different deals, large deals that ICON has done. So he's worked really closely with the ICON council members for quite a while now. And in addition to that, AD4th Insight as a company itself is one of the leading blockchain marketing companies in Korea. So they help a lot with national marketing, as well as just setting up also different kind of networking events in Korea. But AD4th Insight is more regional, I would say, whereas Deblock would get their help as well, but we're also looking to expand globally.
Okay. And I noticed that you guys do share a lot of the same members too from the ICON Foundation as well as Deblock. So you guys kind of have that back and forth. Actually, this is kind of off topic, man, just to throw some humor in there. What's up with all the Kims? Like, you got JH Kim, J Kim, Min Kim, Woon Kim. Are they family or is that just a coincidence? Like, this is kind of a random question, but.
Yeah, I mean, Kim is the most common name in Korea.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. And I mean, there's no precedent to another surname, you know, in the States. So that's why it's confusing, I think.
Yeah, I'm just adding some humor to it. Because I've always wondered that. I always went through it. I was like, are these guys all family members or what's the deal with that? So another question that I really wanted to get, that a lot of the community asks, because sometimes you have these people and they say, well, what's the point? Why do we need to have this extra leg of something, right? So you obviously had the loop chain previously. They rebranded to ICONLOOP, but a lot of people don't really understand what the difference is. Why do we need the ICON Foundation? Why do we need ICON? Why do we need ICX? Like, what is the difference between the two?
Right. So the difference between ICONLOOP and ICON as a public chain itself is a question that gets asked a lot, and it's a really important question. But firstly, ICONLOOP itself is a company that focuses on private enterprise solutions for enterprise, right? So it is, I think, fair to say that it's the #1 company in that field, in the sense that it's also a close partner with the government in a lot of different government deals and a lot of different government projects. Having said that, ICON is a public version of that. And the relationship between the two is ultimately the same people who work on ICONLOOP are the people who work on the ICON public chain. And currently, right now, a lot more resources are dedicated to building out the ICON public chain currently. And the relationship between that in terms of the ICX tokens is that this is, I think, something that needs to be emphasized, is that the ICON Council members, when they look at the ICON project, when they look at the current private enterprise network that the ICONLOOP has built, they are looking at the next critical step as being connecting all these private enterprise networks by using the ICON public chain, right? And this is something that's being worked on. It's currently being developed right now. And it's not just a side project. It's not something like, oh, we could do that. Well, you know, we built some dApps on it, but it's actually a critical next step that they're considering. And ultimately, that would lead to the use of the ICX tokens and connecting all the private chains as well.
Yeah, good, because I wanted to definitely have that differentiation made publicly because, I mean, I've seen some crazy things online, you know, people saying, oh, you know, it's just a cash grab. It's like you don't understand the difference between the two and how they work. I think that the one thing that kind of upset a lot of people was there seemed to be a period of a lack of communication between ICON for quite some time. I mean, I was even a little frustrated myself, but now everything is great. I mean, you guys have the Iconist, so that's where we can get updates as well. Obviously, you're in Deblock. You guys are reaching out, doing interviews like this. I think that that's great. As far as the token is concerned, too, I think that there was a little bit of maybe confusion as to whether or not it was going to be a staking model. And now it turns out that that's not actually going to be the case of the token. Is that true, that it's not a staking model?
So I think it's a little bit different in the sense that, firstly, it is a staking model.
Okay.
It is a staking model, but there is a different element of staking involved that's unique to ICON called virtual steps. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but yeah.
Virtual steps?
So this is there are two kinds of staking for ICON. Firstly, one kind of staking is for the dApps themselves. And what they do is they stake ICX and they get in return virtual ICX that they can use only for transactions. Only for transaction fees. So these steps are essentially 100 millionth of an ICX, and they're virtual in the sense that they're non-tradable. And using these, you can actually eliminate transaction fees to get rid of the hassle of having transaction fees in the first place. And these are for dApps. And another kind of staking is the kind of staking that we already know with regards to proof of stake or DPoS in the case of ICON.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because that was another thing we were confused about as well. I know you guys just started releasing a lot of those yellow papers. You have 2 out of 3 of them out. Actually, I planned on making some videos, but you get so busy over here. But yeah, I mean, I'd love to definitely shed some light onto that as well. Like you said, I never even heard of that for virtual steps. Yeah, new terminology to me. I definitely have to look into that. It's been there's so much going on, you know, and that's why it's great to have you on to really talk about it. What really got me interested to even have this whole conversation with you was that article that you put out that, I mean, virtually went viral. I mean, everybody was talking about it. It was ICON's relationship with the Korean government. I was hoping that maybe you could sort of, even though we've discussed it on my channel, maybe you could help us unpack some of the key takeaways from the article and explain the significance of these relationships.
Sure, sure. Which one would you like to focus on?
Honestly, whichever one you think is the most important. I mean, you have the one with the S coin. You know, that's pretty big news as well. But whatever you think is the most important, personally, it's up to you. I think this is the thing. I think we're just interested in South Korea's official stance on crypto. I think that's more of where I'm coming from. Like, you see a lot of these different demographics and stuff, and these different governments, they don't mind blockchain, right? They're okay with that. But then when you get to the crypto side, that's when it gets kind of like fuzzy. So what is their stance on crypto right now?
Yeah, so actually, the honest answer is that no one really knows, right? But no one really knows what their honest stance on cryptocurrencies are. But what's 100% kind of expressed by the government is their support for blockchain, right? And that's evident by the multi-million, dollar investments that they're putting in, both from a city government level as well as the actual government. And also they've actually invested already into a lot of different blockchain companies, including ICONLOOP in the past, right? Having said that, I think currently the situation is looking much more positive than before. There are a lot of public figures calling out for clarity and regulation on ICOs, for example, which would be directly involved, which are directly cryptocurrencies, not blockchain, right? So there is a lot of support for that as well. And actually, recently, the chairman of the National Policy Committee was calling out for clarity on this, and he's going to also be a key member in the decision that's going to come in November. With regards to the regulation on ICOs as well as cryptocurrency exchanges. So on that front, it's looking a lot more positive than before. And with regards to what ICON is doing with the current government, I think, as I said before, since you asked, what is the general perception of ICON in Korea? And it's considered the #1 blockchain development company in Korea. And that's why the council members were invited, for example, to the National Assembly, in which the Estonian president was invited to speak. They were also invited to give presentations as well as to participate in discussions about the current state of blockchain and the future of legislation. And this was an event that was hosted by the National Assembly as well as other blockchain associations in Korea. So these are the kind of initiatives that ICON is leading as a leader of blockchain in Korea. They are pushing these kind of discussions forward, and they are also in contact with the government to accelerate the kind of regulation that we want to see.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody out there watched it on the news, but I'm going to drop that article again in the video. Okay, definitely check it out. It's the whole government unpacked. You have the National Election Committee, and then, how do you say it? Jeju governor? Is that Jeju?
Yeah.
Yeah, that. You said the Blockchain Association. You have the Assembly, and then the other thing too that I thought was really cool was like I just brought it up, was the S coin. So is that they're going to be utilizing the loop chain or ICONLOOP for that, correct?
Yeah, so S-Coin was actually an idea that was put forth by the ICON council member, KJE. And he was the one who directly suggested it to the government. The government the Seoul government thought it was a cool idea. And currently they're in talks about using ICON's technology. So using the private network of ICON to create an S-Coin for the administrations. And
that would essentially just be like their digital currency just for Seoul, I guess, just specifically, or?
Yeah, so I guess the details are obviously not out. And they're still only in talks about, being a technical partner for them. But I would assume that it's something along the lines of, using S-Coin for things related to public infrastructure, like in the subways or things of that nature.
Yeah,
but that's honestly just speculation on my part.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I see you guys have done a whole bunch of stuff with Korean customs and all this other things. I mean, I've been watching it. If you saw my update video, man, you guys have been cranking out the news, the partnership. So, I kind of want to ask you a question. This is sort of about competitors. I mean, I feel like we need to talk about this in the space because there's a lot of competitors. There's a newer project that's come out recently that I've actually been talking to, Ergo. Are you familiar with them? They're like a subsidiary, like they're the parent company's Blocko, and then this is their kind of like open source version. I mean, are they,
Right.
do you consider them competitors, or is it kind of like the space is too small, they're doing their own thing? I mean, I just curious from your perspective.
Right, right. So there are a few platforms that are looking to launch, public chains that are looking to launch. And to be honest, we're not too concerned about competitors in the sense that we want to just make sure that since everything is so early right now, it doesn't make sense to compete with these people. It makes more sense to cooperate, especially when technology is open source. We want to just make sure that our network can grow as much as possible. We want to collaborate with these projects and not really think about them in terms of competitors. But I think Ergo is also a really great company. I mean, Blocko is the company behind Ergo. They also do private enterprise solutions for Korea. Yeah, that's
maybe you guys can collaborate. I don't know. That'd be awesome. That'd be pretty cool. So, yeah, I mean, honestly, like we basically covered a lot of the questions, you know, I mean, the updates are there, the news is there, you know, people can get it anywhere. Obviously you have, like I said, it's the icon.ist, which is a great place for news as well as what you guys put out. So I guess kind of to like summarize, what exactly can we expect moving forward from ICON and Deblock? What's really in store for us ahead, you know, short term and long term?
With regards to ICON and Deblock, I think we're going to keep pushing for acceleration of companies that we think are some of the largest companies in Korea, right? So we're looking for a lot of quality over quantity, and that's reflected in the fact that I told you a little while ago about the application process for Deblock, and so far we've met with about over 100 different projects, but we're accelerating a very select few of them. And the reason is that because Deblock as an accelerator, we want to work with projects that can really push out mainstream adoption in the way that, you know, it hasn't been done before. So we want to work with the largest teams, with the largest growing user bases, because we think that's the best shot of mainstream adoption. Because in Korea, the market is kind of unique in the sense that you have really large corporations trying to do reverse ICOs, which is to say trying to tokenize their existing models. And these are companies that aren't doing ICOs because they don't have money or they, or they're failing, but these are growing companies. And we think that applying tokenization to these kind of companies is really the way that we can get mainstream adoption. And that's the kind of focus that we have. And that's why we're focused on quality. With regards to ICON, I think a key next step would be the public and private chain convergence, right? And this is something it's hard to say exactly when the timeline of this will happen. But one thing is that this whole initiative of setting up the public chain was started because there was a demand for it. There was a demand from the private enterprise side of wanting to connect with different consortiums. For example, Chain ID would be a really great example of that, where it's an identity solution on the blockchain. But this kind of thing would be applicable to all sorts of consortiums, right? ID is a very central part. So there was a real demand for it, and that's why ICON was created as a project. And the next critical step would be, in terms of private and public convergence, that would be it. And also, currently on the public side, I would say that the next step would be the third part of the yellow paper, which includes details on staking, which includes details on voting, on governance, and how to be a PREP or a CREP, things of that nature.
I think that's the one we're all waiting for, honestly. I think from an investor standpoint, we're most interested in the utility of the token and all that. And just to kind of just sort of piggyback on what you said, that's the one thing that I do appreciate is, you know, I mean, I'm not going to name projects, but you see a lot of projects out there, you know, just MOU. It's like us, we're shaking hands with somebody. But what does it mean? Like, what value does this cooperation bring to the ecosystem. And I find that you guys, especially with ICON, I mean, look at some of the connections, even with just Line. You know, people don't understand how big that is, especially in the West. Line is massive. So
Right.
yeah, it's just a lot of stuff like that. And I really, really appreciate what you guys are doing. And that's why I definitely just continue to support ICON and try my best to educate people on what it is and what it's really doing out there. So is there anything that you think we kind of missed or you wanted to talk about before we end this?
Nope, nothing in particular.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, thank you. Like I said, and I'm definitely looking forward to that third yellow paper. And then when it comes out, I think I'm going to release a series to kind of go into it and explain it a little bit better. So yeah, Markus, thank you so much for stopping by the channel. I really appreciate the updates, man.
Yeah, sounds great. Thanks for having me, and thanks for your time.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll definitely be keeping an eye on Deblock, definitely going to be keeping an eye on ICON and everything else. And, you know, obviously, you know, I do news every day. So if I happen to miss something, you know, just let me know, because I definitely, you know, try to stay up on it as much as I can. So everyone out there, thank you so much for coming back to the channel. You guys are awesome. I really appreciate it. Everyone that's been liking, subscribing, commenting, definitely check out ICON. If you haven't, check out Deblock as well. And I'll drop that article below that we were referencing throughout most of this conversation. So that being said, my name's K-Dub. This is Crypto Zombie. Until next time, stay crypto and peace out.